either die a hero or live long enough to see yourself become the villain. Welcome back, everybody. Matt the Man here. Hope you're doing well. So yesterday was Comic-Con for Marvel. Marvel had their panel. Now, I'm going to say it right now, I'm very disappointed in Comic-Con this year. DC had, like, 0 announcements. You have a Batman movie coming out soon. You just finished making Superman. Not even a teaser trailer for Superman. You got Supergirl on the horizon. Nothing. But Marvel had their panel. And by the end of it, they dropped the bomb. Boom! Like Robert Downey Jr. and Oppenheimer. Boom! That's right. Robert Downey Jr. is returning to MCU. But there's a twist. No, this is not an M. Night Shyamalan movie. That comes out Friday. Robert Downey Jr. is not coming back as Iron Man. Nor should he. But he is coming back as Dr. Doom. The Doctor is in the house. RDJ. I even said that not too long ago that I would think that Avengers 5 should be called Doom. Now they're calling it Avengers Doomsday. I think DC might have a problem with that. Anyway. How do I feel about Robert Downey Jr. coming back to play Victor Von Doom? You see, I see it as 2 things. Number 1, Marvel is doing the multiverse right now. You gotta remember that. Number 2, Dr. Doom is a villain for the Fantastic Four. Right? The Fantastic Four movie that's starting to shoot this week comes out next summer. Which I have a feeling we will see the Doctor sometime in the movie. Whether it's just Victor Von Doom or actual Doctor. Doctor! Doctor! Is the Doctor in the house? At some point. Whether it's just a post-credit scene setting up Avengers 5, which will come out the following year. And that Fantastic Four movie is A, set in the 60s, and B, is in a different universe. Remember that. So, this Dr. Doom, the Doctor, played by Robert Downey Jr., is in a different multiverse. Just like we've seen in Doctor Strange and Multiverse of Madness, just like we just saw with Deadpool and Wolverine, there can be multiple variants of a character. Right? We saw that in Spider-Man No Way Home. Tobey Maguire, Andrew Garfield, and Tom Holland. All Spider-Men. All in different universes. And you gotta remember too, we don't know if this Dr. Doom is gonna be only for Fantastic Four, Avengers 5, and Avengers 6, or he is gonna be further in the future. They might have this Fantastic Four jump to our universe, 616, the main MCU universe, and it might be a completely different actor. Now, what do I think this is interesting? Yes. Why, Matt? Why? Please, tell us. Tell us now. If you remember when we first saw Tony Stark in Iron Man, he was kind of an asshole. He was kind of a dick. You know? He was an alcoholic. He drank a lot. This was before Marvel took over. This is when it was still under Paramount. They could do some edgy shit. You know, he was sleeping with women. You know, he was a playboy. He was an alcoholic playboy. You remember that line? They say the best weapon is the one you never have to fire. I respectfully disagree. I prefer the weapon you only have to fire once. That's how Dad did it. That's how America does it. And it's worked out pretty good so far. He was a weapon arms dealer. He sold weapons to terrorists. That's not a good guy. No good. But obviously throughout that movie he changed his art throughout the movie and he became the superhero known as Iron Man. And at the end was being recruited by Nick Fury to join the Avengers. So if you take the Tony Stark from the beginning of Iron Man 1, but instead of getting captured and having this rehabilitation moment, I'm going to be good now. I'm not going to sell firearms, nuclear weapons. I'm going to protect the people I put in harm's way. Remember that? But now, reverse that. And like we've seen with so many Marvel movies, where the protagonist and the antagonist is just the mirror version of the protagonist. Why does Batman and Joker, Tony Stark and Obadiah Stane, Peter Parker and, I don't know, Norman Osborn, Green Goblin, Venom, Superman and Zod, you know? The mirror images of one another. You could be him if you go down the wrong path. You could be the villain of your story. Bruce Wayne and Harvey Dent in The Dark Knight. That's a great example. So this is not surprising. Victor Von Doom is an intelligent science guy billionaire. Who does that sound like? Tony Stark. Okay. But a lot of it's going to have to do with the execution. A lot of it has to do with that. A lot of it also has to do with Robert Downey Jr. Robert Downey Jr. can't come in and be Tony Stark. He can't have that same personality. And I'm going to tell you right now, it is going to be hard for even someone like me to go see Fantastic Four or go see Avengers Doomsday. And when I first see Robert Downey Jr., not automatically think Tony Stark. Because we saw him for 10 years as Tony Stark. When I see Robert Downey Jr. in anything now, I see Tony Stark. And now you're going to put him back in the Marvel movies? That's going to be a problem for some people. I get it. I understand. But he cannot be the Tony Stark that we saw him play for 10 years. If he's actually going to be Victor Von Doom, he needs to portray Victor Von Doom. Serious. He's got to take the character almost like we saw in him in Zodiac, the David Fincher movie, or what we just saw last year in Christopher Nolan's Oppenheimer. Serious. Very different from Tony Stark. That's what we're going to have to see. If we see the same personality of Tony Stark, it's not going to work. Now, could they have gotten another actor? Yes. I mean, if you were going to go with someone we've already seen in the MCU, I've already said, Mads Mikkelsen would have been a perfect Doctor Doom. Even if he's already been in Doctor Strange. He has that voice, that accent. He just has that look. Yeah, he's played a lot of villains, but he's great at it. I even said Cillian Murphy. Bring in Cillian. Have him be Doctor Doom. Why not? He's been the Scarecrow in Batman Begins. That was almost 20 years ago. But like I said, it all comes down to how you're going to portray Victor Von Doom. And yes, this is a multiverse movie. This is a variant. This is set in another universe in the 60s. But we'll see how. And like I said, is he actually going to be Victor Von Doom? Or is it going to be a Tony Stark that goes bad and puts on the Doom costume? We don't know. But let me know in the comments below. You know, I know a lot of people are happy about this, a lot of people are not happy about this. A lot of people think this is just a lazy Marvel trying to win back the fans. Hey, we're bringing back Robert Downey Jr. Yay! But as Victor Von Doom, no! And yes, this could be interesting down the road when we get to the Avengers movie. Can you imagine our little boy Tom Holland, Peter Parker, going to fight, and the mask comes off of Victor Von Doom, and it looks like Tony Stark, and little Peter Parker's upset, angry, sad. Tony, I want you to die. What are you doing? And that would actually work for someone like a Spider-Man, because a lot of Spider-Man's nemesis, if you will, villains, antagonists, are kind of father figures to Peter Parker. Norman Osborn, Dr. Connors, Dr. Octavius. They're scientists who also become kind of like a father figure to Peter Parker, Spider-Man. You have a evil Tony Stark, who's now Victor Von Doom, but looks like Tony Stark, as a villain. And when Peter Parker sees that, that could be interesting for both Dr. Doom and for Peter Parker. Not to mention other like Thor and other Avengers that know Tony Stark that are still alive. That could be interesting. And like I said, I mean, we just saw Deadpool and Wolverine. There are certain characters in that movie that we've seen a certain actor play two different roles. I won't say who, but we see an actor play in the MCU and in the Fox universe back in the 2000s. And guess what? He played that role in the 2000s perfectly, and he still played that role in Deadpool and Wolverine perfectly. So, and it was a completely different character. So what a certain actor did as a certain character in the MCU and a certain character in the Fox universe back in the 2000s, completely different characters, that's what Robert Downey Jr. is going to have to do as Victor Von Doom. He can't be Iron Man. He has to be Victor. Victor Doom. Now, wouldn't it have been great to see Robert Downey Jr. return as Iron Man in Secret Wars from another universe as Iron Man, and have to be there with Hugh Jackman's Wolverine, with Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man maybe, and I don't know, maybe Wesley Snipes' Blade. Maybe we'll still get that. Maybe we won't. But I think it's all about the execution. Because like I said, Tony Stark at the beginning of the first Iron Man was an asshole. Asshole. And if we get that Tony Stark, but in Victor Von Doom, but even worse, even badder, even more powerful, it could be interesting. But like I said, you don't get Robert Downey Jr. back unless there's something there. He can live the rest of his life perfectly fine. He made so much money on those Marvel movies. He just won an Academy Award. He doesn't need to return to the Marvel Universe. That's the thing that people don't realize. He doesn't need to come back. So if he's coming back, has to be something there that is driving him back. And having the Russo brothers come back too, that helps. So let me know in the comments below, are you a fan of Robert Downey Jr. returning as not Iron Man, but as Victor Von Doom? Let me know in the comments below.